Hi, this video is focused on the part 5 of domain 1. There we will cover the cloud service providers evaluation. Please subscribe the channel if not yet done already. So the verification against some of the criterias where we have ISO 27001, we have 27002, then we have 27017 and 18 as well, which are cloud specific. And type of SOC reports like SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, how what is the use case of each report type, and what is covered there, PCI DSS, HIPAA, and NIST and FedRAMP, where they are exactly used, and what is their focus area, common criteria and FIPS. This last bullet is more focused on the product specific, while the other criterias are at the organization level. ISO 27001, it is a globally recognized standard, but this is not very cloud specific. This is a generic standard, oftenly known as ISMS, which is Information Security Management Systems. ISMS is set of people, process, and technologies that manage the overall security of a company's system and data. And this standard describes the overall components of an ISMS. And these are the focus areas. So from exam point of view, just focus on what is the use of ISO 27001, and what are the requirements and focus areas. For example, the information security policies, organization of information security, human resource security, asset management, access control, cryptography, physical and environment security. So this is the overall, covering all the security controls there. Similarly, the ISO 27002, this is built on top of ISO 27001, and more of in terms of the details, this is how it differs from ISO 27001. If you talk about the ISO 27017 and 18, so these two standards are very cloud specific. For example, this ISO 27017 is built on top of 27002, which provides the guidelines for security controls related to provisioning and use of the cloud service. The standard also offers the security controls and the implementation of the guidance for both CSP and cloud service customers. While in the 27018, it is more focused on the PII, personally identifiable information in the cloud, and again builds on the existing set of controls within the the previous discussed standards that we just covered. SOC, it is, we used to have earlier the SAS 70, uh, which was replaced by, more comprehensive service organization controls, which is SOC now. And we have further three different categories of the SOC here. And these SOC, whether SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, all these three type of reports, these align with the standards outlined in the statement on standards for the attestation engagement, that is um, SSAE 18. So that is aligned with this standard while we create SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3 reports. So SOC 1, it is more focused on the financial controls, and also the controls review focus is those affecting the financial statements. Report deals with the internal controls, patient, pertinent to the audit of the service organization, clients financial statements. and usually it is because being it a security, being it a financial control report, it is it can be shared with the with the selected people who are more into the higher level of positions like that. SOC 2, it is more on the operational control focus, where the controls that may affect the security, availability, processing, integrity, and confidentiality, and privacy as well. Also, this reports deals with the service organization controls that are pertinent to their operations and compliances. While SOC 3 is operational control focus, again, as with the SOC 2, the controls that may affect the security, availability, processing, integrity, confidentiality, or privacy. SOC 3 is, SOC 3 reporting is for the larger audience. For example, it is very at a very high level, and it can be further distributed to the stakeholders, for the larger audience, like the shareholders, etc. And this can be shared with those stakeholders of that organization. So that is the primary difference. SOC 1 is the financial specific. SOC 2 is again operational control, that is more focused on the operations and compliances, and the controls that may affect the security, availability. And same is the case with SOC 3, but it is more very high level report, and which is meant for the larger audience, not to be kept confidential. There are two types of report here. One is type 1 and type 2. Type 1 report, point in time description of the control in place. For example, the design effectiveness, how effective the design is. While um, the type 2 report, it is a review of controls over a period of time. Usually it takes 6 to 12 months, and also that test the operating effectiveness of those controls. So when we talk about the type 1 report, it talks about the uh, design effectiveness. When we talk about the type 2 report, it is more the operating effectiveness. So that's the overall difference. We define the requirements in the design effectiveness, that okay, we have access control, we have encryption, we are protecting the data. And when we move to type 2 report, how effective operationally those controls are, that is focused more on that in type 2 report. PCI DSS, that is payment card industry data security standard. It is a proprietary security standard that is established by like EMV, Visa, Mastercard, American Express, Discover, JCB, etc. And this governs all organization that accepts, stores, or transmit the cardholders, data. Uh, the sense of, for the sensitive authentication purpose. And if you store the credit card data or the card holders data, then you need to adhere with the PCI DSS standard. There, they need to build and maintain the security network. They need to protect the cardholder data. They need to maintain a vulnerability management program, implement the strong access control measures, regularly monitor and test the network, maintain an information security policy, etc. So these are the primary goals of PCI DSS. NIST Special Publication 800-53 and FedRAMP. Primarily the NIST This is the releases and manages a variety of special publications that are related to the computer system security, cloud computing, and the other technologies. And the security and privacy for FIP, for Federal Information Security and Organization is NIST. That is the Bible of the information security controls. It's targeted towards the non-defense related federal agencies in the US government. Primarily, that is the primary goal and objective for the NIST, to ensure the appropriate security requirements and the security controls are applied to all US federal government. So that is the primary goal and objective of the NIST. FedRAMP, this is the Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program. It is a US government wide program that was established in 2011 to create a standardized approach to security assessment, authorization, and continuous monitoring of the cloud service providers. The FedRAMP effectively enforces the NIST guidelines, including 800-53 and the other NIST guidelines for any cloud service provider that provides the product or services to the US government. This is known for being a rigorous assessment process. FedRAMP model has been a major influence for the public sector cloud security programs around the world. So this the objective of the FedRAMP is very clear to support the U.S. government wide program for the entire U.S. Government wide programs. It is supposed to standardize the approach for security assessment, authorization, and continuous monitoring for all the cloud service providers. Common criteria. This is more also sometimes we call it as CC. In security we call it as CC, and we have one ISO standard as well, which is that is being used in this. It is ISO 15408, and this is standard and is internationally recognized as the gold standard for identifying the secure IT products in there. There is a process for the common criteria evaluation. First of all, these protection profiles. What does the customer need? And then they need to identify, for example, the security target, the vendor's claim of the security. For example, when they submit the product, they need to claim, okay, they are achieving, they have implemented this level of security. So that is their claim of security. And then successful evaluation of the product, that will help to certify the product. Okay, so there are two components primarily. One is the protection profile, which means very unique to the specific type of products. For example, the operating system, firewalls, antivirus, IDS, IPS kind of products. These are these falls under the category of protection profiles. Evaluation assurance level, EALs. This is for the numeric score that is assigned to a product to describe how thoroughly it was tested during the common criteria process. Also, EAL ranges from 1 to 7. 1 means less secure, or we can say the higher levels provides the more assurance of the product security claims. FIPS is the Federal Information Processing Standard, which has two types of the different standard. For example, ISO-2, and we have FIPS 140-2, and then we have FIPS 140-3. um, which means this 140-3 is replacing this 140-2, because this has more robustness in terms of the standardized approach in the latest level. The FIPS is primarily um, for the for the products which are supporting the cryptographic modules. Also, this is released by NIST of the US government, and this one is related to the assessment and validation of the crypto modules. A cryptographic module is simply any hardware, software, or firmware combination that performs for example, the cryptographic operations, for example, encryption, decryption, signing, verification, etc. The primary goal of the FIPS standard is to accredit the private vendors for the cryptographic products who wants to have their solution used in the US government departments. And also there are different levels here. um, Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Also, similar to the common criteria, FIPS assessment is completed by one of the several, independent third-party labs who rates each product security between level 1 and 4, and they submit their report, and then the authority issues the certificate for that product. The different levels here. Level 1, it is the lowest level of security. This basically um, the requirement that is at least one approved algorithm is in use by the cryptographic module. So that is very basic product to achieve the FIPS level 1. FIPS level 2, it is a security level 2 that adds the additional physical security consideration in the product. On top of that, and we have tamper evident tape or pick resistance locks, or these are just the examples to achieve the level 2 security for the tamper resistance. And then we have level 3. So it is adding the more controls from the tamper response perspective. For example, this device is going to detect some kind of tampering or any intrusion, and respond by protecting the module and any data within. For example, the level would be detecting that the hardware has been breached and erasing all the plain text data or the keys within the module to prevent the unauthorized access. Whereas this level 4, this is the highest level of security in FIPS, which requires the rigid testing and scrutiny for the certification process. The devices certified at this level requires the cryptographic modules are fully surrounded by the protections that are able to detect any and all unauthorized access attempts. A successful penetration of the physical barrier requires the immediate erasure of any sensitive plain text within the module. For example, if you have, let's say, if this is the box, and you have one net here in this, and the net is like that you can just insert one probe there to perform the side channel attacks. You can gauge using that power differential analysis, or something like that. You can perform those side channel attacks, and the device should be able to detect that there is a physical intrusion or barrier that requires the immediate erasure of any sensitive data that is stored on this device. With this, we conclude this tutorial. and the domain 1 of CCSP. So all 5 tutorials are completed as part of the domain 1 of CCSP. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.